when it comes to trauma. How important is it that you detox the body?
So you can't detox the body spiritually without doing it physically. We have to realize that mind, body, and spirit is interwoven. That's the reason why you literally can't access the third dimensional realm of density without the vehicle. That's the first thing we have to understand, that all of these things, I'm not saying they're equal, they all play their role that's necessary in life for us to be able to experience this life in the third dimension. So you have to cleanse all of them to have true healing. That goes back to that biomarker or that signature I said that heals last, and that is literally that soul signature. It seems like what I've been seeing through healing, the spirit heals quick, the body heals quick, but that soul, that impression on that personality, is a signature there that takes generations to really weed out. Trauma is everything. Like, you have something called cyto-immunological systems, where you can Google this word, it will pop up, where certain thoughts or certain memories will actually trigger certain types of antigens and allergic reactions through the body. You know, we done seen certain tumors go down just for people, you know, being healed mentally and spiritually, or being taken under hypnosis, where they get hypnotized and you literally feed them placebo and you tell them you were healed. You just give them basic affirmations, and then you check them 2 months later and their tumor sizes have shrunk tremendously. So showing you that, you know, them traumatic experiences sitting inside of the cells, we have to remember that you can actually measure thought. So if you can measure thought, that means thought is a real thing. It's actually a element, and all elements in the body create a blowback, or what you would call metabolic waste. So if trauma is an experience is a thought or a memory, and memory hold weight, and it's considered an element, then that means these things are acid forming and they have to get out of the body. So if you never get rid of the traumatic experience, or do your spiritual work, or go through the cleansing rituals to get these things up out of the cells, then it's going to lock and bind up in your cells, and it's going to burn your tissues. This is called living in metabolic acidosis, and these things bring on energy blockages, because what fire do? Fire sucks out oxygen. Remember, oxygen, or the deprived oxygen of the cell, is what I call disease. So I mean, I think it's very important that we work with our past lives, get rid of past life trauma, because a lot of the baggage we do be bringing into our reincarnation phase. So we most definitely need to clean up our past lives. I most definitely think we need to play with our inner child. A lot of healing actually come from playing with your inner child. A lot of healing come from laughter. A lot of people don't know how laughter actually initiates and activate that NRF2 gene that helps the detoxification phase. So, you know, be around people that makes you laugh. Be around people that increases dopamine in a good way. Not dopamine to get you addicted to foods, but dopamine to have you addicted to an actual good, healthy time. All these things help you get rid of that traumatic experience. So, I mean, trauma is crazy, because trauma will harm the body. And then, you know, trauma in a physical sense, or people that get into, you know, car accidents and they still dealing with certain scar tissues. We noticed that a lot of memories get locked in the scar tissue. So, you know, we created all types of salves and butters to help you, you know, get rid of that scar tissue. And we noticed when you start seeing that scar tissue go away, and working with the thyroid, or what you call the parathyroid, because the parathyroid is in control of the connective tissue of the body. And when you heal the thyroid up and you heal the scar tissue up, we notice that people get rid of that stuff, and they're able to forgive people that touched on them when they was little, showing you that grudge was locked up within the scar tissue. So we have to quit looking at our bodies like it's just a body. No, your body is spiritual. Your body is the most important thing. Look, you living in it. You live in your body the whole life. Your whole life you're in this vehicle. That's how important it is. And I just think, for us to truly know that means we got to understand, and we got to start studying our bodies more. Not only the outside of our bodies, but most definitely our inward parts, because this is a toolbox and a utensil for us to experience reality from. You know, I did a lecture not too long ago, and it was called The Purpose of Man. And what I did was I went into nature and I meditated for 3 days. And what I came up with was the purpose of man is to experience. And that's the reason why we have hands, to hold things, to play with things. It's what childs do when a child is growing. The moment they get into the crawling stage, they get into everything. And what they do, they take something and they taste it, showing that your tongue is to taste things for you can download memories. The eyes is to pull things through images for you can lock in memory. Everything is for you to rememberize. That way, when you transition, you take these memories to your creator, and then the creator can learn from its own creation.
Yes.
And the only way you can do that is by getting rid of the traumatic experience that's blocking you from experiencing. I mean, facts.
Shadow work.
I think you need shadow work just as well as you need herbs and diet. I think all of that
Yes.
is equal. Like you can't do spiritual work without doing the actual physical diet, and you can't do that without taking the purgatory poisonous herbs to help actually purge the body. These all things come one in one. Just like you have mind, body, spirit, and soul, you have actual shadow work, or what I call spiritual cleansing. You have physical cleansing, or what I call the sauna, the herbs, and all of that. And then you actually have your mental cleansing, or what I would call self-hypnosing, and turning your brain back into that theta state where you can get back into your imagination and start doing your own affirmations and seeing yourself heal. There was another scientific study done, ISIS, where monks, they did monks and they did regular humans. It was in New York. Y'all look this up. The first one they did was working out, where people actually went to the gym and worked out, and then monks actually sat down into a meditation state. They did diaphragmatic deep breaths and they imagined themselves working out. Do you know that the monks had better bodies after 6 months than the people that was going to the gym every day, based off of their mind?
That's the third time I've heard that. That's crazy.
Based off their mind, though. So showing you that the mind is what governs and rule the body, and what governs and rule the body is the spirit. So I think we need to be tapping into that first, because it's crazy. You'll change somebody's diet, you will heal them of a disease, but then you will let them back out to the wolves because you never changed their mind. And I've been seeing that a lot, and that's why I teach preventive maintenance so much, because that's a mind change. Let me love myself to not eat this candy bar. Let me love myself to put down the meat. Let me love myself enough to not get into this type of toxic relationship. Once you start changing your mind, your body gon' follow. That's why they say if it doesn't mind, it don't matter. Mind over matter. Matter is the body. Mind creates the matter. Yeah. And also, so spiritual cleansing, physical cleansing, and mental cleansing should be all done simultaneously.